We have 7. We have a quorum.
Okay. All right, I got 1:30 on my laptop, so let's go ahead and call to order the Western Riverside County Programs and Projects Committee. That's October 26th, 1:30 p.m. And we'll start off with our Pledge of Allegiance. You'd all stand up and join me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America.
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under
Under
God,
God, indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, just a few housekeeping rules. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for participating in our remote meeting for the Riverside County Projects and Programs Committee. Before we begin, please, if you would all silence your communication devices such as your cell or desk phone that you're not using for this meeting. This will ensure that we are not having any feedback or causing interruption during our meeting. As far as a Zoom, if you are participating in Zoom and you would like to speak, the list of participants will appear on the right side of this. If you click on the participant button on the bottom, a list of participants will appear on the right side of the screen. At the bottom of this list, please click on the gray raised hand button. This will signal the host that you would like to provide public comment, and then you will be added to the list. If you're using Zoom on your smartphone, tap your screen. A new screen will pop up with the list of participants. Look for the raised hand button on the screen. And for those of you who are calling in, if you hit *9, that'll signal that you'd like to comment. Hitting *9 again will withdraw your request to speak. Okay, so with that, I'll ask the Madam Clerk if you conduct roll call, please.
Thank you. District 1,
District 1 here.
District 5,
Here.
Corona,
Present.
Eastville,
Present.
Harupa Valley,
I'm here.
Menifee, Moreno Valley, Marietta,
Here.
Norco,
Here.
Perris,
Here.
San Jacinto,
Here.
Wildemar.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Item 3 is our public comments. Do we have any requests to speak?
I do not see anybody with their hand raised.
All right, thank you very much. Item 4 is additions and revisions. Do we have any?
No, sir.
Very good. Item 5
So
is
moved. Sorry, I thought we were at consent. Sorry.
No. Item 5 is approval of minutes for September 28, 2020. If there are no questions from any of our commissioners or anybody from the public, I'll call for a motion.
Move to approve.
Second, Benoit.
Very good. Roll call vote, please.
District 1,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
Corona,
Yes.
Eastville,
Aye.
Harupa Valley,
Yes.
Marietta,
Yes.
Norco,
Yes.
Perris,
Yes.
San Jacinto.
Abstaining due to absence.
Thank you. And Wildemar.
Yes.
The item passes.
Thank you. Item 6, 15 Express Lanes Administrative Review Hearing Officer Services Agreement. This will be presented by Anthony Parada.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Anthony Prada, Senior Management Analyst with the Toll Department. The item before you is a service agreement with David Cyprian for Administrative Review Hearing Officer Services for the 15 express lanes. The Commission's violation ordinance 19-001, in adherence with the California Vehicle Code, sets forth a process for toll evasion violations to be contested and subsequently appealed through an administrative review hearing. The administrative review hearing must be heard by a reviewer who meets the requirements set forth in the ordinance as enumerated in the staff report. As we prepare to open the 15 express lanes, we have developed the required notifications and processes required to process toll evasion violations. The final piece required to adhere to this required processes is in the provision of the administrative hearing officer. Today, we're seeking approval of an agreement for those services. The Commission's procurement manual requires that 3 quotes be obtained for professional services agreements up to $250,000. Staff search for qualified reviewers through the California Public Parking Association, an organization that provides training and certification for parking citation hearing officers throughout the state. 4 responses were received and reviewed by staff. David Cyprian's proposal was determined to be the most cost-effective proposal, meets the qualifications set forth by the ordinance, and has sufficient availability to respond to the Commission's needs. Mr. Cyprian is currently providing administrative review hearing officer services for the 91 express lanes through a contract with the 91 express lanes operator, Kofi Route. Mr. Cyprian's knowledge of the Commission's express lane operation, account policies, and violation policies will allow him to integrate into the 15 express lanes process seamlessly. Award of the agreement to David Cyprian for administrative review hearing officer services for a 5-year term in an amount not to exceed $100,000 is recommended. I'm happy to answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Anthony. Are there any commissioners have any questions?
I'm not seeing any hands raised.
Very good. Do we have any members of the public wishing to speak?
Also not seeing any hands raised.
Okay, hearing no requests to speak, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve, Marietta.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Roll call vote, please.
District 1,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
Corona,
Aye.
Eastvale,
Aye.
Harupa Valley,
Yes.
Marietta,
Yes.
Norco,
Yes.
Perris,
Yes.
San Jacinto,
Yes.
Wildemar.
Yes.
The item passes.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Anthony, for your report. Item 7 is request to declare real property as surplus. This will be given by Hector Casillas.
Hello, good afternoon, Chair Vargas and committee members. I do have a PowerPoint to share with you this afternoon. Perfect. Thank you, Lisa. For your consideration is an item pertaining to real property owned by the Commission and a request to declare it surplus. Next slide. After completing a review of the Commission's real property inventory, staff identified 4 properties located in Western Riverside County that are no longer necessary for the Commission's projects. The properties are in the cities of Riverside, Perris, Hemet, and San Jacinto. After Commission approval, staff is prepared to follow its right-of-way policies and procedures manual, as well as state laws, which include the 60-day public agency notification requirements, unless a property is exempt. In the next slides, we will review each property more closely. Next slide, please. Thank you. The first property is located in the city of Riverside, near Orange Street in the northwest corner of the 6091-215 interchange. After selling a 29-acre piece of property in 2017, the Commission was left with 2 areas, a 1.4-acre area and a 3.04-acre parcel. The 2 areas are bisected by a flood control channel and were retained for a future connector between State Route 60 and State Route 91. However, as mentioned in the staff report, there are no current plans to construct a connector at this time, as these areas are reserved for that future connector. The area shaded in purple on your screen is approximately 18,065 square feet from the 3.04 acre parcel. Staff is requesting that only 18,065 square feet be declared surplus, which will still allow the commission to continue to reserve enough right-of-way in the event for that connector materialize in the future. Next slide. The second property is located in the city of Perris, near D Street and San Jacinto Avenue. The area to be declared surplus is shaded in purple on your screen and is approximately 43,671 square feet. The property is improved by the Perris Senior Center and Banta Betty Park, which are improvements that are owned by the city of Perris. Staff has been in negotiations with the city to transfer the property to them, and under the government code, the 60-day public agency notification requirements can be waived if the property is transferred to another public agency. And out of the 4 properties we are covering today, this is the only one that qualifies as exempt, and staff hopes to return to the full commission in December for approval of the transfer or sale to the city of Perris. Next slide. The final 2 properties are located near State Street and Esplanade Avenue in the cities of Hemet and San Jacinto. The property west of State Street, shaded in purple, is 18,947 square feet and is in the city of Hemet. The property east of State Street, shaded in purple, is 20,615 square feet in the city of San Jacinto. These 2 properties are part of a former Railroad Y. I should note the commission sold a portion of the Railroad Y in 2005. The properties are located about 3/4 of a mile from the end of the San Jacinto branch line and are not necessary for the extension of the rail line into San Jacinto. Next slide. And that concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Sorry, I was on mute. I've been talking away here. I'm gonna ask again, anybody have any questions? Oh, Mr. Utz has a question. Yes, sir.
I do.
Go ahead.
Regarding the surplus property in Hemet and San Jacinto, has the possibility of an extension of the San Jacinto branch line into downtown San Jacinto, now that we have the Saboba Casino there, been considered? And if that does become a reality, will the surplus properties then actually have been necessary?
At the time that we conducted our review, which was earlier this year in February and March, we explored just the possibility of our rail line needing it, and staff determined that it was not necessary. But if the city of San Jacinto would like to come forward during that 60-day public agency review period, then we could definitely work with the city on that.
Okay, great.
And,
Thank you.
and I would just add, we have not had any conversations about extending a future rail line beyond the right of way that we currently own. There have been no
Great.
conversations about that.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Commissioner Vinton has a question.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you, Hector. Regarding the Riverside piece, currently we do not have plans for connector, but in the possibility that we do, that piece is out of that right of way. Is that true?
Correct. So when we initially reserved those 2 areas, we reserved a very large piece of property. So we believe we overestimated in our area to retain when we sold the property. So we believe that by allowing this 18,000 square feet piece of property, we still have more than enough to construct that future connector if we need to, without requiring the need for additional right-of-way.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all.
And Commissioner Bergson has his hand up.
Okay, Commissioner Bergson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So my question is on the first property where there's discussion about whether or not a connector will ever be built. And so this is beyond this area that's being discussed today is the area outside of the right of way that we need once we build this thing, if it ever gets built. But my question is, was this other area like a staging area for construction? Are we going to run into an issue if we ever do build this thing that we're going to then need more space to build this project?
That could be a possibility. We're going to have about 4 acres left. So if that whole 4 acres is used for the construction project, and the contractor would need to look for additional area. I don't think this 18,000 square feet would be big enough to store all the equipment, but it definitely is some area, about half an acre, that could have possibly been used, but it's undetermined when that will be.
So is there a reason, I mean, is it costing us that much to hang on to this sliver? Or I'm not really seeing the true benefit of getting rid of this piece if in fact it could be utilized by the contractor to stage their materials, their equipment, to their offices or whatever. As I said, in the event that this project ever does go forward.
Hector, let me address that. So this corner, the commission surplus the balance of the land a couple of years ago, and it is currently being developed. We've come to this question a number of times over the years, and just how much of this, this corner quadrant do we save for the future when there are no current plans to build the connector? It's not identified in the measure to build that connector. So what we're trying to do here is make as much land as possible available for development, get as much property as we can off of our property rolls where we have to care for them, and only keep the bare minimum of what we would need or what Caltrans would need for a connector in the future. So we're trying to fine tune this line. Surprisingly enough, the maintenance in this area has been particularly high, primarily because people dump on this property quite frequently. There's a dead end road, and people drive in there and dump, instead of going to the landfill, they come to our property and put things there. So our goal is to get as much of this off of our inventory as we possibly can. If a connector is built in the future, it more than likely will be a structure. So it will be on columns. And so I believe we did go meet with Caltrans and review what that could look like. So I think we do have enough space left over if in fact a structure ever gets built for a connector.
All right, that satisfies my answer. Thank you.
Anybody else? I don't see anybody. Any members of the public wishing to speak on this matter?
I do not see any other hands raised.
Very good. Well, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll approve. This is Wesson speaking. Corona.
Second period.
Okay, we got a first and a second. A roll call vote, please.
District 1,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
Corona,
Aye.
Eastville,
Aye.
Harupa Valley,
Yes.
Marietta,
Yes.
Norco,
Yes.
Perris,
Yes.
San Jacinto,
Yes.
Wildemar.
Yes.
The item passes.
Thank you. Item 8 is agreements with the California Department of Transportation for state funding and Senate Bill number 1 funding for the operation of the Freeway Service Patrol Program in Riverside County. And this will be introduced by Michelle McCamish.
Good afternoon. This is my first time presenting to you on Zoom, so please accept my apologies in advance for dog barking, and the Wi-Fi is a little spotty today. This item is for approval of 2 Caltrans funding agreements. The commission, acting in its capacity as the Service Authority for Freeway Emergencies, or SAFE, administers a freeway service patrol program in Riverside County. Currently, the commission provides baseline peak morning and evening service across 12 beats with midday and weekend service on select beats. In fiscal year 2020, RCTC's FSP program recorded over 49,000 assists, an increase of almost 4,500 over last fiscal year, and South County provided over 13,000 of those assists. The FSP program is implemented in partnership with CHP and Caltrans. The commission is responsible for program administration, CHP for day-to-day operations and field supervision, and Caltrans is the primary funding agency. Each fiscal year, Caltrans executes 2 fund transfer agreements with the SAFEs that operate FSP programs. One is the formula-based state allocation. The second is the SB1 allocation. The state allocation of $1.69 million provides funds for the continuation of our baseline service on 9 beats, which covers service on I-15, SR-60, SR-91, and I-215. The SB1 allocation of $1.41 million provides funds to continue our new South County service on 3 beats, which began in September 2018. The SB1 funds also fund midday and weekend service on SR-91, as well as supplement inflation costs in RCTC's baseline service. RCTC's 25% match is provided by SAFE revenues, which are derived from a $1 per vehicle registration fee on vehicles registered in Riverside County. Caltrans requires these routine administrative agreements each fiscal year, but they are generally received after the applicable fiscal year has already started and RCTC is already incurring reimbursable costs. Staff has traditionally brought the agreements to the commission for approval every year. However, in order to expedite and streamline the execution of future agreements and therefore the commission's receipt of reimbursement funds, staff is recommending adopting resolution number 20-015, authorizing the executive director to negotiate and execute the Caltrans funding agreements for FSP each year. The commission will retain authority for approval of FSP contracts with tow operators and budgeting of funds for FSP during the annual budget process. Staff is also recommending approval of these 2 funding agreements with Caltrans for the continued operation of the Riverside County FSP program in the amount of $1.69 million and $1.41 million for fiscal year 2021. This concludes my presentation and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Michelle. Any commissioners wishing to speak or make a comment?
I'm not seeing any hands raised.
Okay, any members of the public wishing to speak on this matter?
Also
Okay.
no hands raised.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Second, San Jacinto.
Very good. We have a first and a second. Call a roll call vote, please.
District 1,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
Corona,
Aye.
Eastville,
Aye.
Harupa Valley,
Yes.
Marietta,
Yes.
Norco,
Yes.
Perris,
Yes.
San Jacinto,
Yes.
Wildemar.
Yes.
The item passes.
Thank you. Item 9, Regional 511 implementation. This will be introduced by Brian Kananen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, commissioners. You just heard about the FSP program in the previous item. This item is on 511 Traveler Information Services, another motorist assistance program provided by RCTC. In response to a federal mandate, RCTC deployed an Inland Empire 511 Traveler Information Program in 2010 for both Riverside and San Bernardino County called IE 511. And you may have seen some of the highway signage throughout the Inland Empire as well. The 511 system is accessible 3 ways: through a mobile app, online at ie511.org, or by dialing 511 from a phone in Riverside or San Bernardino County. This bi-county approach for 511 has served Riverside and San Bernardino counties well. However, there are additional benefits and cost savings that can be realized by aligning with a 511 platform beyond the Inland Empire. As such, in June 2019, the Commission approved a draft MOU to migrate to a regional 511 platform administered by LA Metro to cover all 5 neighboring counties, including Los Angeles, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino, and Ventura. This regional system will provide the same level of service currently offered to Inland Empire constituents with a phone, website, and mobile app components. Metro has conducted a cost analysis of Southern California Regional 511 service and are requiring that participating agencies share in the operational cost to operate and maintain a regional 511 system, which is a fair requirement. Staff at RCTC, SBCTA, and Metro negotiated a cost structure that keeps our costs within what our agencies are used to paying for the current IE 511 system, even though Metro has a significantly larger 511 budget. For RCTC, this means annual operational costs starting at $153,000 for the first year with a 3% annual escalation for up to 5 years, and a one-time integration cost of $55,000. This process of identifying the work elements for the transition, negotiating cost sharing, and agreement terms, not just between us, but also with SBCTA and Metro, has taken longer than originally anticipated. We were hoping to have a cutover to the new SoCal 511 system by the end of this calendar year, and the major consultant contracts that support IE 511 operations reflect that timeline. There's only enough contract budget authority for Iteris and MediaBeef to support IE 511 operations through the end of 2020. The adjusted target is to transition to SoCal 511 before the end of the current fiscal year. Therefore, in order to support continued IE 511 operations up to that transition, staff recommends approval of agreements with Iteris for $130K and MediaBeef for $35,000. Iteris provides the technical services behind all the data feeds that make up the traffic map and the interactive phone system. MediaBeef is responsible for the website and mobile app components of the 511 system. Additionally, staff recommends approval of an amendment to extend the agreement with SBCTA beyond 2020 for reimbursement of half of the IE 511 operational expenses. Lastly, staff recommends approval of the agreement with Metro for an amount not to exceed $891,000 over 5 years, which includes the one-time integration cost of $55,000, $810,000 in maintenance and operations, and $25,000 in contingency. By moving to this solution, we're streamlining resources, keeping operational costs level, and will benefit from enhancements that will be coming online in the regional platform in 2021, such as a Spanish interactive voice response or IVR phone enhancement, and an enhanced traveler notification system that will alert users of delays on any of their pre-programmed routes. Beyond these, another major benefit is having a consistent user experience for motorists throughout the region as they cross county lines. Once this transition is complete, staff hopes that we will be able to engage with San Diego County as well regarding an even larger 511 network. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Brian. Commissioners, anybody have any comments or questions?
Not seeing anyone with their hand raised.
Very good. Any members of the public wishing to speak?
Seeing none.
Very good. We're on a roll here. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Corley makes a motion.
Willimore, second.
First and a second, call roll call vote, please.
District 1,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
Corona,
Aye.
Eastville,
Aye.
Harupa Valley,
Yes.
Marietta,
Yes.
Norco,
Yes.
Perris,
Yes.
San Jacinto,
Yes.
Wildemar.
Yes.
The item passes.
Thank you. Item 10, agreement for van pool vehicle leasing services. This was introduced by Brian Cannon again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This item is seeking approval of an agreement to AVR van pool for van pool leasing services for the Commission's van pool program. The purpose of this agreement is to provide van poolers more choice in selecting a service for their commute into Western Riverside County. First, a little bit of background. The Commission Van Pool Subsidy Program branded van club has been in operation for almost 2.5 years now. And right before the pandemic, the program was subsidizing 80 van pools. Through this program, eligible van pools receive up to $400 per month off the cost of their monthly lease. And to be eligible, van pools must have a minimum of 5 riders, including the driver, commute more than 30 miles round trip each day, commute 12 or more days each month, and commute to a work site destination in Western Riverside County. Lastly, the vehicle must be a 7 to 15 seat vehicle leased from an approved van pool leasing vendor. Currently, the only options that van club participants have to choose from are Enterprise and CalVans. Enterprise accounts for most of the van pool subsidized in the program and was procured through an RFP process. CalVans, which is short for the California Van Pool Authority, is a public transit provider and primarily serves agricultural markets with specialized vans. At the time that the van club programs launched, these were the only viable van pool lease providers available. Since that time, additional providers have come into this very niche market. Wanting to expand provider choice and vehicle options for van club participants, an RFP was released in coordination with SBCTA, who operates an identical program and was in the same boat. Having started their program around the same time as RCTC, they only had one provider serving traditional employer markets. As such, SBCTA released a new RFP on behalf of both SBCTA and RCTC in July 2020. Locally in Southern California, staff is aware of 2 other van pool leasing providers available outside of Enterprise. Ultimately, one of those providers submitted a proposal in response to the RFP. This proposal from AVR Van Pool was evaluated by an evaluation committee consisting of RCTC and SBCTA staff and RCTC's Van Pool consultant. The evaluation committee found AVR to be responsive and conducted an interview on September 9th. As a result of their review of their written proposal and the interview, the evaluation committee determined AVR Van Pool to be a qualified firm to provide van pool vehicle leasing services in addition to Enterprise and CalVans. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the AVR agreement for a 3-year term with 1 2-year option for a contract amount not to exceed $875,000. Funding for the AVR will be through a combination of local grant funds from the South Coast Air Quality Management District's Mobile Source Reduction Committee, and then transition to federal funds once AQMD funding has been exhausted. Lastly, since this agenda item was published, the SBCTA Transit Committee approved a contract award to AVR and has forwarded it to the full SBCTA Board of Directors for approval next month. RCTC staff recommendation is to award a vehicle leasing services agreement to AVR Van Pool in an amount not to exceed $875,000, authorize the chair or executive director pursuant to legal counsel review to finalize and execute the agreement, including option years on behalf of the commission, and forward to the commission for final action. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Very good. Thank you, Brian. Any commissioners have any comments or questions?
I am not seeing any hands raised.
Thank you. Any members of the public?
Seeing none.
Great. At this point, I entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second, Murrieta.
Very good. We have a first and a second. Roll call vote, please.
District 1,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
Corona,
Aye.
Eastville,
Aye.
Harupa Valley,
Yes.
Marietta,
Yes.
Norco,
Yes.
Perris,
Yes.
San Jacinto,
Yes.
Wildemar.
Yes.
The item passes.
Thank you. Item 11 is commissioners and staff report. Commissioners have any reports?
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to apologize to the group for my absence. There was a bit of a miscommunication after we had gone dark and then restarted. I wasn't getting the notifications, and my primary was not making me aware of the meetings. And so I'm back in the loop, and I appreciate everybody's indulgence.
Very good. Anybody else? Staff?
No.
Man, you guys are great. All right, we are on item number 12, which is our adjournment. Our next meeting will be Monday, November 23rd at 1:30 p.m. Pretty much sure we'll be doing another Zoom meeting, so be safe, everyone. Stay healthy, and we'll see you in November.
Good
Thank
luck,
you.
everyone.
Take care all.
Thank you.
Thank you.